Welcome back to Care to CEO, where we help ordinary people build extraordinary care businesses. Today's episode is for anyone who's ever wondered, could I really own a home care business? Do I need a medical background, a ton of money, a degree? Well, Crystal's here to tell you the truth. If you've got heart, commitment, and the right guidance, this is one of the most open, accessible, and purpose driven industries out there. Let's break it down. Crystal, I'm so excited to see you today and chat.
You too. It's been a minute. Happy Friday. Oh my goodness. It's so great to see you.
Happy Friday. TGIF, this is the highlight of my Friday, if I'm being honest.
Me
I
too.
always
Me
get excited to
too.
chat with you.
I love chatting with you. So,
So let's get into it,
yes,
Crystal. So,
yes.
on today's topic, talking about home care businesses and how the right people can get into this area and this niche. So, people hear home care business and they tend to assume they need a medical degree. But let's clear that up. So, like, who can actually own and operate this business?
Right. So you're absolutely right in saying that people think that they need some fancy medical degree in order to operate a home care business, and that is just totally not true. What you really need is the ability to manage a business and have a heart of service, right? That's the key, and the willingness to build systems, which is really true in any business. And you need to hire qualified people, right? Many successful owners come from non-clinical backgrounds, but what really comes down to is the best leadership skills, not the credentials.
Awesome. Definitely having that ability to organize and those things that you've kind of talked about earlier in other episodes, but really having that grit and that care, I think goes so much further in this industry. And knowing that you don't need a medical degree, I feel like is such a eye-opening experience to people who want to get into it. Even myself, I would have assumed you need some kind of credentials.
I think initially I did as well, and then I learned that that was not the truth.
Absolutely, which is actually a great point into my next question about I think it's probably more mindset and personality. So, like, what kind of mindset shift is needed to go from caregiver or employee to owner in this industry?
So I think you really need to move from task-based thinking to strategic leadership. As an owner, you're not just doing the work, you're building the systems that do the work. That means trusting others, thinking about growth, and making decisions based on long term vision instead of just doing the daily to do list. That's really what it takes. You just have to create a great system and discipline yourself. That system will operate even when you're not necessarily doing what you're supposed to do, but you have to build the discipline to create the system. And I think that's really, what's gotten me through.
Absolutely. And I think even now more than ever, even probably when you started, it's, we're in such a day and age where information is so readily available. If you have no idea how to build systems, there's Google, there's ChatGPT, there's all these ways that can help you learn how to build a system. Because that's all really coachable and learnable to do, especially now more than ever. And with your experience, because you do so many things, but one of the things you do is coaching others on top of everything else, because you seem to blow me away with all the things you do. But from your experience coaching others, what's the most common misconception that people have about starting in this field?
I think the biggest misconception is that this business is just about caregiving, and that's not necessarily true. It's important, but this is a business first. It's about operations, marketing, compliance, so that you are following the rules, hiring the right staff, and scaling because hopefully the idea is eventually you want to grow. And when people realize that, they begin to operate differently and position themselves for sustainable growth, which is really the overall idea.
Absolutely. And with your coaching and your mentorship, which is something that you've more recently taken on, and I know this just from, and I'm sure our listeners know this from our previous episodes, that mentorship has been something so important to your growth and your success and your overall knowledge. that now you're mentoring people as something that's super important to you and you have so much to contribute and give back and help. So when someone does join your mentorship program, where do you usually see them start? And for example, what are maybe the first 2 or 3 steps that move them forward?
People usually come to me, and they're very passionate and they do have some experience. That's really great and it's needed, but they don't often have a roadmap. And the first steps are getting clear on the service model, securing your LLC or, however you plan to incorporate your business, and also compliance documents and understanding the state regulations. So then we can build a launch plan with clear goals and a marketing strategy. So that's the goal, when helping someone scale their business. And that is one of the main benefits of having a mentor, someone who can really help guide you through the process.
And I know that's when you seem or mentioned that that's when you tend to see people start, but do you also mentor people who aren't quite there with their beginning credentialing,
Absolutely. I think I'm prepared to mentor someone at really any level. So
any state?
yeah, I really, because I've helped people who have literally they're still working. I actually was on a call today. That was my coaching call today. This young man was actually at work, and so yeah, and he called me because he wants to start his own home care, and I let him know that that's absolutely possible because I did it. So I get to share my lived experiences with people, and I get to be the example because I actually worked in the field and then became an owner. So I'm confident that I can help anybody.
And I love that example. Someone was at work and doing this on the side of their main job. So it's one of those things where people do want to start and they can jump all in if they have the time allotted, but they can also start doing things on the side and build that foundation to then be able to.
Absolutely. You just build bit by bit until you get there. And I would be here as well as my team to hold your hand through that process, as I've had to have people hold mine.
Right. Everyone needs help. So I think I always say that I want you to mentor me in everything in life actually. But there are so many programs and coaching offers online. So what makes your approach different and what should someone look for in a good mentor for them?
My approach is built on experience because I've actually done the work, and I raised my kids doing the work. And then I was able to scale to a 7-figure agency. So I give my mentees the playbook, but also the mindset shifts that I know is needed in order to be successful really in anything you do, and access to real tools and support and a community. I think a good mentor isn't just someone who's done it, but it's someone who can teach you and support you through your journey. That's what I make myself available to do.
Absolutely, and I love what you just said too, like, you can basically mentor them through everything. So specifically, obviously, is in a way catered to caregiving, but I think, like you said, the playbook and the way that you've tackled the caregiving business, a lot of those things can also be used for other industries and other walks of life and other verticals just by, I guess, your playbook and the way that you were able to learn and grow this.
Right. And I've talked about just having the blueprint, especially if you come from either a healthcare background or a home care background or just a caregiver in general. You really have the blueprint. You've worked in nursing homes or in homes, and you've had to document, you've had to, care for your clients. So you really have what it takes. You just need some guidance to really turn that into a business. And my mission statement lately has really been turning your purpose into profit because I think that's really like the best way to go. Like you take something you're already passionate about, you already have in you, and profit from it. I think that's the best way to do things. I think we build better communities if we did that. There would be, single parents would really be able to take care of their families if more people, really operated in that way. So that's what I'm here to help people do.
I love that purpose to profit. I have not heard that, but you always come with the best one-liners.
I had to throw one in there today.
Yeah, no, you're always so good. I need to go back and, like, make a list of them, 'cause I know Pain to Power is one that I hear on another show, and I love that, but I love that. It's like the 4 Ps. Pain to Power, like, I love that.
Mhm, right.
Purpose to Profit. I'm gonna note that one as well. I'm gonna literally have to come up with a list of all of your sayings and, like, write them on my wall. And I know you work with so many people and have come in contact with so many people through all your different walks of life and your mentoring and your being a mentee and the conferences and things like that you go to and all the employees you've had. But does something pop out, or can you share a story of someone who you have coached who didn't really believe that they could do it and what really changed for them through your mentorship with them?
Yeah, that's probably like, I don't know, 90% of the people that come to me don't believe they can do it. But one particular client was a CNA for over 15 years. She thought that ownership was for other people. Gotta put the air quotes up there because that's something you hear a lot. It's for someone else, not you. But once she got her first client, then it became very real. And with systems and support, her confidence exploded. And now she has 10 staff members and serves in 2 counties. So, and I really love these stories, when people come to you and they didn't even think they could do it. And now, they're just thriving. Those are the stories I'm really here for.
Amazing, I love that, and that's so, like, gratifying for you too.
Absolutely. Very fulfilling.
And as successful as you are and as powerful as you are, I know, you're human and, I'm sure you have your times where you even may question, "Oh, should I do this? Can I do this?" And having those clients behind you that have grown and succeeded and become so powerful and independent and have these functional businesses, for you to look back on that must be super gratifying and rewarding for you.
It definitely is. Yeah. Like I said, I love what I do. It's great to see people who just really didn't believe in themselves and, they conquered their fears and now they live a totally different life. And that's I think I really enjoy that part too, where someone was in a totally different place 2 years ago and now, they have a whole different lifestyle that they never dreamed they could have just from, believing in themselves. Yeah, we wanna keep that train going and, find as many people that we can, help get there and succeed as possible.
And what kinds of support or services do home care businesses really need, from licensing help to staffing? How does coaching really help fill those gaps?
I think some of the biggest gaps that I see and that I've experienced myself are licensing navigation, marketing, and reliable staffing. Like, those are some of the biggest pitfalls that I think we as home care agencies experience. And coaching really helps to fill those gaps by giving owners support, things like network template systems, and direct answers when you're stuck. I can't tell you how many times when I was stuck and I just needed someone to pick up the phone. You're experiencing something that you really don't know how to navigate, you really don't know what to do, and you just need someone to just, first of all, just answer the phone and just to hear a mentor say they've been through it, number one, and I got about 3 solutions for you. You know what I mean? And I've had that happen. So I want to be that person. I want to be the voice on the other end of the phone, and that way people aren't guessing and I can help guide them. So you don't have to guess, but you can be guided through the process.
Absolutely. And I know that there are, kind of going back to what we said earlier about online courses, and there's so many, and especially now, it can be even overwhelming and not particularly in caregiving, but just like online coaching overall.
Right, for sure. It's a pretty saturated industry right now, I would say.
And I think that, not to knock online courses, I've done some in different areas and I think they're amazing. But I think having that one on one connection that you're offering is so incredible, because sometimes you just need to talk to someone, even if it's just
Sure.
to talk out loud and bounce
Yes,
ideas off.
yes, absolutely. And sometimes when you just talk to someone, you can come up with your own solutions if you're just like saying something out loud and someone's just listening. I've done that a million times. So I've had my some of my mentees do that as well. Just sit there and listen, and it's like, you just solved your own problem. So, like I said, it was always in you.
Yeah, for sure. I know somewhat unrelated, but I can attest to that 100%. I recently moved and I was just calling everyone on my phone. Please just sit on FaceTime with me. You don't even have to talk. Just like stay on FaceTime because you just being there is somewhat in a way holding me accountable and letting me talk out loud. But you don't even have to listen to me. Just have me there so like I feel that connection of like someone is there listening, so it's motivating in a way, it's an accountability thing. So to be able to have that experience and then have you who knows exactly what's going on and how to help contribute to that, it's an amazing experience for the mentee. So that reinforcement is probably everything.
It is. It is everything, and it's still everything for me. So I know that there's a lot of other people who need it.
Absolutely. And the fact that you also are in this position where you're obviously capable and knowledgeable and doing all this work to be the mentor for mentees, but the fact that you're continuing to grow in every aspect and every vertical that you grow in, and you still have mentors. And with all this knowledge, you could say, hey, I know all of this, and this is, the knowledge I'm ready to give to you. But you keep learning more and you keep growing. So
Absolutely.
it's this cycle that you continue to give back. Yeah, I know you're always up to something and always bettering yourself and learning more. So
I try, and I definitely encourage others to do the same.
absolutely. And so let's say someone is listening who has never run a business in their life. What would you tell them about why home care is a great first business?
So I would say home care is a people first business with high demand and low startup, which is another really great thing about it compared to other industries, I'll say. And it's built more on heart and structure and relationships. And that makes it an incredible entry point for first time entrepreneurs who want to lead with purpose. So that's what I would say for people who have never done this. Don't be afraid that you can't afford it, that you don't have the tools, because I would say I'm sure you do. If you have a conversation with me, I bet you I could pull out a whole book of tools that you already have at your fingertips. So come on this journey with me.
Absolutely. Go on the journey. I'm on this journey with you, and I love that. I love that I get to experience this too from my view as well. And for those who do want to connect with you and are interested in mentorships and getting in contact with you, is that all available on your website?
It is. So you can follow me in any platform I'm on, caretoceo.com. But if you were interested in booking me, you would go to ft.crystalsmith.online. That's ft.crystalsmith.online.
Okay, awesome. And we'll make sure to put that information on the information on the podcast as well, just to make sure everyone has easy access to go and check that out and visit if interested. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think this episode was your permission slip. Everyone listening, you do not need a white coat, a trust fund, or a business degree. You need guidance, grit, and the belief that you can do it. And with leaders like Crystal paving the way, you're not doing it alone. So visit caretoceo.com if you're ready to learn, build, and launch your future in care. We'll see you next time and keep listening and watching out for what Crystal's up to because there's always something new with her going on. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening, everybody, and I'll see you next time.
Take care.